Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do something really cool. We are going to take a deep dive back in time. So deep that it will make your head spin. How do you feel about time travel? Well, not actually time travel, it's just animation and science. But today we are going to animate the formation of the Earth. We'll see how the Big Bang Theory played out to form our little blue planet, and perhaps more interestingly, how the first life began. Let's go. The formation of Earth and life. Before we start, can I ask you a favor? If you enjoy this type of content, please hit subscribe because it does help me make more of them. So, thank you. Alright, let's get started. We will be traveling back in time to around 4.5 billion years ago, give or take a few hundred million years. Back then, the solar system was a very different place. All the planets were still forming and the sun was still in its infancy. Now, it's hard to imagine the sun being any different than it is now, right? But it was, you see, the sun was born from a giant cloud of gas and dust. That's what all stars are made of. Just different sizes. When the cloud collapsed in on itself, everything got way more dense and hot. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. Gravity pulled all that mass together. At the center of this mass was where the sun would eventually form. And as gravity did its thing, the remaining dust and rocks began to clump up and form the planets. Our young Earth was one such clump. In fact, Earth wasn't even a sphere. It was more like a lumpy blob at this stage of development. As the sun continued to grow, the radiation from its fiery surface began to bake our growing planet. The intense heat transformed rocks into a molten state, turning the Earth into a giant sea of lava. Meteorites crashed into the Earth constantly. It was bombarded by objects of all shapes and sizes. The Earth was not alone. Other planets and their moons were being barraged as well. These collisions were violent and frequent. It was a turbulent time, but from this chaos came order. Imagine seeing this for yourself, the birth of a planet. The molten Earth cooled slightly, and a solid crust began to form. This happened over hundreds of millions of years. This crust was not uniform though. Different parts cooled at different rates. Some areas hardened, while others remained soft and gooey. These sections were pushed and pulled apart by the cooling process, creating gigantic cracks across the surface. Molten rock welled up through these fissures, creating mountains and valleys. Earth was coming alive, changing constantly. The young planet breathed heavily, venting gases from its interior. These included water vapor, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and some oxygen. This was the first atmosphere. But what about life? How did that begin? Well, let's talk about that next. After hundreds of millions of years, Earth's surface cooled enough to allow liquid water to exist. This was a huge step. Water vapor from the atmosphere condensed into clouds, and the first rains fell. But this was not like normal rain. These were not gentle showers. These were torrential downpours that lasted for millions of years. The Earth was absolutely drenched. These waters carved new landscapes, filling in the cracks and crevices of the young planet. Basins became lakes, valleys became rivers, and the Earth became a true world. All the while, volcanoes continued to release gases and debris into the atmosphere. Oxygen levels rose slowly, but Earth was still a very hostile place. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun split apart the water vapor in the atmosphere. This produced free oxygen that reacted with other elements, making the atmosphere thick with ozone. Earth was shrouded in a protective shield that blocked much of the sun's harmful radiation. Now, the surface cuckoo. The first life forms appeared in the depths of Earth's oceans. There are two prevailing theories on how this occurred. One theory suggests that life began in the warm waters of deep ocean vents. These vents release heat and chemicals from Earth's interior. Certain bacteria utilize the heat and chemicals to sustain themselves. They use energy from inorganic substances like sulfur to live. Okay, moving on to the other theory on how life began, which takes place near those same vents. Another type of bacteria uses energy from the sun to produce food. They use photosynthesis to convert sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water into energy. And here's why. Scientists think this happened near vents. These vents emit chemicals that could have been the raw materials needed to build the first cells. Scientists believe that these cells were This means that they lacked a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. DNA was present. However, prokaryotes reproduce by splitting into two identical cells. This is known as binary. Scientists think that this process may have been a key factor in the rapid evolution of early life. You see, by splitting, cells could quickly adapt to changes in their environment. So within a relatively short period of time, these simple cells dominated the globe. In fact, fossils of these ancient microbes have been found. They are called These structures are formed by layers of sediment that build up around colonies of photosynthetic bacteria. Stromatolites serve as physical evidence of the incredible age of our planet and the tenacity of life. Earth was alive. For billions of years, prokaryotes shaped the planet. Photosynthetic bacteria released oxygen into the atmosphere. Over time, the amount of oxygen increased, paving the way for more complex life forms. Meanwhile, Earth continued to change. The atmosphere thickened, the oceans deepened, and the land masses shifted. Life, however, remained simple for billions more years. Around 3.5 billion years ago, eukaryotes emerged. Eukaryotes are cells that contain a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. They are more complex than prokaryotes and can carry out more functions. Eukaryotes would go on to become the foundation of all complex life: plants, animals, fungi, and protists. All of them are made of The eukaryotes likely evolved from over billions of years. The internal structure of prokaryotic cells became more complex, eventually giving rise to This transition marked a significant leap forward in the history of life. From simple single-celled organisms, the stage was set for the evolution of multicellular organisms, the beginning of the path that would eventually lead to humans. Now, if you've been paying attention, you might have noticed something missing from this story. Humans. Yep, we didn't show how humans specifically evolved. This is because we wanted to keep this video somewhat brief, but also because human evolution has been covered a lot. However, we can say that modern humans appeared around 300,000 years ago in Africa. Homo sapiens spread throughout the world, replacing earlier human species. Humans developed complex societies, languages, and eventually, technology. So now, we bring you full circle. Take a moment to appreciate the vastness of time, the countless eons that have passed since the birth of the Earth until this very moment. We've traveled back to the dawn of our planet's history, witnessing the Earth as it was in its infancy, seeing the humble beginnings of our world, the slow and steady process that led to the formation of oceans and the emergence of the first life. It's a humbling experience, and now we come to the most awe-inspiring part of our journey, the origin of life itself. The emergence of those first single-celled organisms, the tiny building blocks of all living things. Life found a way. Despite the harsh conditions on early Earth, these microscopic pioneers thrived, laying the foundation for the rich tapestry of life that would flourish over the millennia. As we reflect on this incredible journey, let us marvel at the resilience and adaptability of life. Those early organisms not only survived but thrived in an environment that would be inhospitable by today's standards. They were the true survivors, the pioneers who dared to exist in a world of fire and fury. Their tenacity and adaptability are a testament to the indomitable spirit of life itself. Now, we know that life can seem pretty tough sometimes. The problems we face can feel overwhelming. The challenges we encounter can seem insurmountable. But when we look back at the history of life on Earth, we are reminded that life always finds a way. Even in the face of adversity, life persists, adapts, and thrives. And so, as we continue our journey through the cosmos, let us carry with us the lessons we've learned from the humble beginnings of life on Earth. Let us be resilient in the face of adversity, adaptable in the face of change, and tenacious in the pursuit of our dreams. For life itself is a cosmic miracle, a testament to the power of adaptation and the beauty of the universe. Thanks for watching. See ya!